Hey everybody, it is Pat from Pat's Chats. And if you know, then you know. All right, why am I coming to you on this blessed day? Because it is the last day of the regular season in the NBA. And a friend of mine, longtime fan of the show, and one of like the 16 people that watch these videos, asked me, hey, you're not doing enough NBA. So this is for you, Mr. Ross. Last regular season day in the NBA. So why is that important? Because the play-in games are pretty much being determined on the Eastern Conference side. Actually, they already have been. They were rolling earlier today. We're talking about Cleveland Cavaliers, Brooklyn Nets, Charlotte Hornets, and Atlanta Hawks. All four of those teams in the play-in scenario were within one game of each other to start the day, and they all want to solidify their positions, matching up as they saw fit. Pretty much they've all played already. All of them won, and it kind of shakes out like this. Now Cleveland is a half game, so they're going to take ahead of Brooklyn. They're going to take the 7 seed. Brooklyn's going to take the 8. Atlanta's going to take 9, and Charlotte's going to take 10. So it should be Cleveland, Charlotte, and Atlanta, Brooklyn. And I'll do more and breakdowns on matchups and all that stuff when the rest of the playoffs kind of shake out. In terms of the Raptors, I'm wearing my new Raptors hat. I want to show off my new Raptors hat. I'm very proud of my new Raptors hat. I love it. They actually have to wait to see what Boston and Philly do to see how those two shake out, to see who they match up with in the first round. They are pretty much solidified in 5th spot, which is crazy. They have their final game of the season today. It kicks off in about 40 minutes against the New York Knicks. By the time I even get this loaded, they'll probably be halftime already. And it's just crazy because this play-in thing, this is why it's so good. We're on the last day of the regular season, and games matter. It was so rare that this was the case previously. The play-ins allow more markets, more entertaining games. It's a way better last third of the season because instead of having 6 teams that are trying to tank just to get a better draft position, you got guys that are trying to make the playoffs because that's where the real money is. That's where the revenue is, right? And it's good marketing. So I'm all for the play-ins. I don't care if the players are like, it's too many games. That's only for old teams. Yes, I'm talking about LeBron James because he was openly against the play-in. Well, don't worry, LeBron. You missed the entire fucking playoffs. You missed the play-in too. And I don't know if anyone remembers. Do you remember? I kind of remember. You remember? I remember they were picked to come out of the West. How's them super teams working out? Brooklyn barely in the play-in, right? Hanging on to the 8 seed. Lakers are out. Clippers haven't got their money's worth out of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. They've hardly played any games together in the last 3 years. Super teams are dead, and people are just trying to figure it out now. Anyway, you know what else comes with the end of the regular season? The awards. We're talking MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Rookie of the Year. These are the biggest awards possible. And of course, MVP is always the one they always want to talk about. And this was the first year I actually heard Nick Wright probably put one of the people I think who's been totally disrespected for the last 3 years. He put Luka Doncic on his ladder of MVP candidates, and he should be. Luka Doncic, in my opinion, is the MVP of this year. He's done more with Dallas by himself because they dumped Kristaps Porzingis. Not like he was helping him, but he is a talented player. And Tim Hardaway Jr., probably the second most talented player on that team, was hurt most of the season. So Luka is almost averaging a triple-double. Now, we've normalized that because of Russ, but as we know, averaging a triple-double doesn't translate into wins all the time, a.k.a. Russ Westbrook, Russ Brick, depending how they feel about it. I know that hurts his feelings, but what it is, you can shoot better. That's up to you. But Luka is averaging just short of a triple-double, and it's translating into wins. So, in my opinion, Luka should be MVP. Behind him, you got to respect what Booker is doing. Ja Morant has been out 20 games, so I don't think he's going to make MVP when in the MVP conversation when they're 18-2 without Ja Morant off Memphis, who's killing it this year. But they only want to talk about their big 3 that they always want to market anyway. Giannis, Joel Embiid, and Joker. And that's it. Jokic is doing well. Like, you take any other team and drop their 2 best players because they were without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. for pretty much the entire season. So Joker's doing great. He's doing great things. But I got to tell you, for me, it's Luka. And Luka should have been in this conversation years ago. Anyway, Defensive Player of the Year. I'm a big fan of Mikal Bridges, and I think a lot of people are on Mikal Bridges out of the Phoenix Suns. You could give it to Rudy Gobert literally any time because he's just forcing the paint, but man, he wins it all the other times too, so who cares? And Rookie of the Year, Cade Cunningham's doing good things out in Detroit. Evan Mobley, obviously, in Cleveland. They're having an exceptional year. But I am partial, and I'm going to go Scotty Barnes because I think he's impacting more important games. He's not just filling the stats, and that's what people always focus on. The stats. The stats say, give me a tangible stat. It's how you affect winning games that matter. Winning garbage teams and filling the stat sheet shouldn't qualify you as the Rookie of the Year. If you're impacting games that matter when they matter, there you go. Now, why did I say this is a regular season conversation? Because they say, well, it's a regular season award. Is it though? Is it? Because when's the last time you saw them give an MVP to anyone who missed the fucking playoffs? Never. So, but you can't be penalized by your team not performing in the playoffs. That's not your fault. Well, you can be penalized by your team not making the playoffs? Like, you could be having the largest impact on your team, and your team missed the playoffs. You could be the most valuable player, but because you didn't make it, now you're just, because you didn't make the playoffs, even though it's a regular season award, they're going to say that because you can't be penalized in the playoffs. It's just hypocrisy in a popularity contest. And for the longest time, it was just a scoring title. If you had the scoring title, you were also the MVP. People who don't remember that, check out when James Harden was winning it. It was between him and LeBron and KD, who was scoring the most. Honestly, it was ridiculous. But anyway, that's how I feel about these awards. And we'll do more on playoff breakdowns after today. So there it is.